around brand sensitivity, consumer behavior changing as well. And to come back to your 8.5 million rands, you're absolutely right. We are going to use 90% for that budget for the manufacturing of the plant. Hello? Coming back to the
still listening.
Coming back to the 8.5 million rands, 90% will be used, as I mentioned, for the equipment purchasing as well as the plant building. The rest of that budget will keep being emphasized in the marketing and sales budget as well. So that's how we will basically position ourselves with the particular characteristic of the product, but also with regards to the manufacturing process that we developed from water extraction source up to distribution will be basically 100% around solar with a very low carbon footprint.
Thank you. Perfect timing, because your 2 minutes are up. Thank you so much for cracking the ice, Michael. Appreciate it. As we observe 30 seconds of silence for the judges to stew over the content, can I ask Iftaka Shaikh from Vitruvian to get ready? In the meantime, you can share your screen and I'll introduce you after 25 odd seconds. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've just been informed that Iftikhar is currently occupied, so we'll come back to that pitch. In the meantime, can we have Radir Ratawal from NanoStream Blue? Radir, are you with us? All right, it seems Radir is also not with us at the moment. We'll move on to the next pitch, which is going to be delivered by Jayshree Ramji. I did see Jayshree in the room. Hi, Jayshree. Are you ready and prepared to deliver your speech? Wow.
Hi.
Awesome. So Jayshree is from Kinetic Therapy. Please do share your screen and Makatsi will start to time you the moment you begin speaking.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. My name is actually Hanita Mathre. I am a physiotherapist and one of the founding members with Jayshree Ramji of Kinetic Therapy. Now, we started this company due to a desperate need my colleague and I had with regards to
yeah, you gone on mute, so we can't hear you. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Let me just Get ready. Can we start again? Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Yamaritawa, and I'm a physiotherapist by profession and one of the co-founding members of Kinetic Therapy together with Jayshree Ramji. Now, we started this company due to a desperate need. Sorry, this doesn't want to work. Sorry, we're having a bit of technical difficulties. Sorry about that. There is load shedding at the moment, but.
All right, we'll give you a grace period of 30 seconds just to ensure you get going.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Hi, Jayshree. Can I ask, are you using two devices? Okay.
Sorry, we're having a bit of technical difficulties. Sorry about that.
I think we can move.
At the moment.
All right, are you sorted? Okay, so we can give you some more. We can give you some more time offline, but we'll need to move on to the next person while you sort out.
Okay, so can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay, and we just want to see, are you able to see the screen now?
We can see the screen.
Okay.
Are you good to go?
Yeah, I'm going to try just to see if the slides are working. Okay, there's it. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for your patience. And thank you for this opportunity. My name is actually Yamaritawa. I am a physiotherapist by profession and one of the co-founding members with Jayshree Ramji of Kinetic Therapy. We started this company due to a desperate need that Jay and I had with regards to the treatment and management of our patients and practices. And the pain that we found was around the time we spent on administration. And the problem with that is that we found that a lot of the times we lost data due to inaccurate or insufficient records. And this led to potential medical legal issues. There was a delayed billing, and this caused a loss of revenue. And because of the poor or lack of data available, there was we couldn't track our patients' compliance or the treatment measures. So we designed a solution called KITS. It's Kinetic Intuitive Technology Solutions. It's an end-to-end intuitive digital system that has AI and machine learning embedded in the system, as well as virtual and telehealth platforms. And we believe that this system will allow us to better manage our practices and our patients, eliminating both mistakes and the need for manual intervention, reducing the costs and saving us on time. So our solution, we've developed a proof of concept. And our proof of concept, basically the application will allow patients to make online appointments as well as have access to their prescriptions, their billings, and allow them and the practitioner to track their outcomes. It will empower the patient, giving them access to their health record. It will also allow them to upload their results, their investigations, and allow the practitioner to digitize all the processes, allowing them to do what they do best, and that is treat patients. We believe that our solution is in line with where the future of healthcare is going, which will be enabled by radically interoperable data and open, secure platforms. We can already see this with the use of wearables, like your smart watches, implants, connected equipment, and digital assistants. The key components involved will be centered around, number one, the patient experience, number two, provider optimization, big data analytics, AI, and platform experience. Now, what does our market look like? In South Africa, there's over 455,000 healthcare practitioners, of which 8,000 are physiotherapists. And just to give you a bit of insight, there's one doctor to 3,000 patients and one physiotherapist to over 7,000 people. So just gives you a bit of in-depth insight of how poor the healthcare practitioner or how understaffed the healthcare industry is. If you go to Africa, there's over 30 million healthcare practitioners and one physiotherapist to 30,000 or to 20,000 patients. Now, we've done a bit of scenario planning on our financial modeling. And if we look at the worst case scenario where we only capture 5% of the test market, that's the physiotherapists, or the anticipated scenario of us capturing 35% of the entire healthcare market, we're seeing that we will reach a profits in the third year, where the anticipated scenario, we will have over 800 million in revenue. Now, there are big competitors in this industry. iCAD, EMD, and HealthBridge are one of the major competitors. They started providing switching services for healthcare practitioners to submit their claims to medical aid. They're now developing modular solutions for doctors regarding online scheduling and the health record. But when compared to what we want to provide, our solution will be more feature-rich and competitively priced. Our go-to-market strategy in the first phase is the prototyping of the test market, where we have adopted an iterative development process where we'll make sure that our development is fit for the community that we're serving before we then go to stage 2 or phase 2, where we expand to other healthcare practitioners in South Africa, and eventually we want to go international. We're actually looking for strategic partners and sponsorship or investments, and a minimum of $200,000 will help us to get our solution off the ground. Our team comprises of myself and Jayshree Ramji. We're both practicing physiotherapists, as well as Tanya Dugra, who's our IT specialist. I'd like to thank you again for this opportunity and would like to open up for any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jayshree. Despite the technical glitches, you still made it happen. It's a wonderful way to ensure that you leave a lasting impact. I'll now ask the judges to raise their hands and ask a question. And just to note, judges, you've got 2 minutes. So let's keep the questions succinct, such that you can have enough time for the participants to revert. Ziad, welcome. Over to you.
Thanks very much. Well done. Good presentation. I think certainly insightful in terms of, developing into a capture market. I think you captured the issue around competitors. You're quite a long way away from them. They've got quite a head start, but if you can differentiate yourself, you can get there. 2 core questions. How will you deal with POP here, given that you want to do an integrated approach and obviously leverage the data? That's the first question. And then the second one is, what happens if you don't get those core partnerships? Are you still able to progress your value proposition on your own? And how would you do that? If you do need the partners, which are the specific areas that you need? Is it on platforms? Is it on IT? Is it on data? What is it? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So with regards to the POPI Act, definitely we are we healthcare practitioners, so we do understand the regulation around healthcare and the Privacy Act. So that will empower patients to have access to their data and who they will are willing to share that data with. But the coding will be around ensuring that we have the security measures put in place. The second question was around our partners. So we're looking for strategic partnerships, preferably in the IT space to help us to develop. But yeah, we have got contingencies put in place. We are looking at different options to look for. Right now, it's the funding that's the problem right now to actually get the platforms and the solution developed. So, but we do have contingencies put in place.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Let me attend my luck here and see if there's another judge with a question, or you have a follow-up, Ziad, on your end with a few seconds to spare.
Yeah, maybe I can just get a bit more on the partner piece, because it's quite a long journey that you got to walk, right? And if you don't have the money and you don't have the partners, it's quite difficult for me to see how you get there. So I think you do need, over and above the money, you do need those strategic partners. and really building the platform together with the application development, etc., is a long journey. So I think you need to be specific in your ask, right? So if you have a targeted partner approach where you say, listen, we need help in application development, and this is what we need help in, then there's an avenue to sort that out. If you say, listen, I need my data integration and I'm on a journey to the cloud, then there's a way to get through that, right? But I think if you take it quite blanket, it's quite a lot to ask for. And I don't think you're going to get a single partner to solve all of that. So I'm happy to take a discussion with you guys offline to give you some direction. But I like the idea and I think it has merit. The solutioning is the key thing, right?
Thank you very much.
Thanks for that.
So just so that you know, this is Jayshree.
And
and I'm Hanita. But thank you very much, Ziad, for the questions and for that opportunity. We'll definitely touch base with you offline.
Great. As you've picked up now, we'll observe 30 seconds for the judges to stew in the pitch that we've just heard. And while this is taking place, I'll ask Gugulethu Siso from Tumeza to prepare her presentation. You can already share it if you're ready. And I'll check in on you after 22 seconds to give you the green light. Gugulethu Siso from Tumeza. All right, Gugulethu, are you ready?
Good afternoon. Yes, I am. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can just put it in presenter mode and you are good to go.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gugulethu Siso, co-founder and CEO of Tumeza Enterprises. Growing up, I had an uncle who owned 3 delivery vehicles. He was very successful and was always managing to secure lucrative contracts with large-scale enterprises such as Pick n Pay and Spar. However, most of these enterprises pay out 30 to 60 days after delivery, and he needed funds up front in order to pay for fuel and other variables. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to access credit from formal institutions as it didn't have collateral nor verifiable operational data. On the other hand, you'd have credit providers that desperately wanted to assist my uncle, but because of this lack of collateral, they weren't able to take the risk of providing with credit as they were scared of being able to get their money back. This is an issue that's being faced by tens of thousands of small-scale transporters active across Africa's $300 billion logistics network. We're targeting $168 billion worth of that market, which constitutes 70% of small-scale transporters, 80% of which have access credit because of a lack of collateral, no verifiable operational data. Our solution as Tumeza is a web app that uses smart contracts to provide working capital financing to small-scale transporters. So how it works is that a transporter records their data as well as requests for financing on the Tumeza platform. We'll then verify this data using APIs that connects to the contract holder, example being Pick n Pay. Then once this is done, we then disperse financing to the transporter using either funds from creditors or our own private balance sheet. We then manage the relationship between all 3 of these parties for accountability and transparency using smart contracts that allow everyone within that relationship to know what's going on at any given amount of time. Our products in their current form are deployed through a web app with an emphasis on collection and verification of data, as well as the dispersal of capital to small-scale transporters. We're currently working on a volume 2 of our smart contract product design that we're looking at launching in Q1 of 2023. Our business model hinges around us taking on average a 5% interest as a facilitation fee for every contract that we facilitate on our platform. On average, our cost of capital is less than 1.5% per month. To date, in the 11 months that we've been active, we've been able to grow our loan book or client interest to $13.3 million US, count clients such as Laura Systems and the UNDP as clients and partners, and have been able to disperse $120,000 US on a month-on-month basis, garnering revenue for the past 11 months of over $64,000 US to date. Our closest competitors are Pivo, based out of Nigeria, who compete with us on a logistics focus, as well as the lack of collateral, as well as competition on pricing and interest. We, however, have been looking at the market and are priding ourselves on differentiation by extremely focusing on the collateralization of data, utilizing the smart contracts, which is something that none of our competitors have been able to get right at this point. The team is extremely passionate about providing access to financing, having been a logistics operator ourselves that failed due to a lack of being unable to get access to collateral. I myself have previously co-founded a B2B startup in Namibia that was able to raise PE funding, and we grew our revenue 7x before my eventual exit in 2017. My co-founder, Tebogo, is an experienced financial manager with over 10 years worth of experience within the banking sector. We're currently looking to raise a pre-seed round of $1.5 million US that will give us 18 months runway to allow us to grow our loan book to $100 million, grow our revenues to over 900,000, as well as allow us to improve our tech, as well as focus more aggressively on client acquisitions. Thank you very much.
Wonderful pitch. Thank you to Gugu. Judges, you have 2 minutes. Please keep your questions succinct so that Gugu can answer as much and as fast as possible. Let me see some hands. Any judges who would like to ask Gugu a question? All right, let me start with Practica and then we'll jump to Sia. Practica, over to you. Can I ask Edison to put his microphone on mute? Thank you. Practica? And Practica can unmute.
Sorry about that. Great pitch. Thank you very much for that. It's great to see the traction and the product and the platform that you've built to date. I believe it's a space that's much needed in terms of driving economic growth. So transport is the logistics space, and working capital is a huge problem, particularly for the small transporters. I like that you're leveraging smart contracts to de-risk and enable the disbursement of financing to the transporters. My question relates to, you mentioned linking to the corporates like a Pick and Pay using API integrations. What have you found some of the challenges in dealing with like a legacy organization? Because I'd imagine their tech infrastructure isn't always API enabled.
Yes, I love the fact that you pointed it out. That's one of the issues that we're facing right now, which is why we're trying to create a volume 2. So we found that as much as you try and build an API that is able to reasonably connect to anything, the older systems, to be honest, are giving us a bit of a problem. So we're trying to simplify the connection as simple as possible, which is something which, I'll be honest, would need a bit more resources, which is why we're currently fundraising. So one is getting the access. Dealing with enterprise clients, it's great for working capital because you know that there's recurring revenue, but getting access takes a very long time. So one, you need a bit of runway just to continue fighting with, the Googles and the Debogos and the Johns of one behemoth business that will take about maybe 6 to 8 months just to create you that access. Whilst in the meantime, you're just trying to verify it in real time using working capital. So I said the challenges, legacy systems, as you say, sometimes we need to be able to simplify. And 2, being able just to get access takes a bit of time. that we're still trying to build a runway for. But in terms of simplifying the APIs, that's something that we're working on.
We've got 2 more questions for you. So from a timing perspective, let me take Ziad and Lundi, who are going to keep their questions succinct so that we can maximize on the time. Ziad and Lundi.
Yeah, thanks very much. Very quickly, well done. Certainly agree with Practica. Good value proposition. I want to just understand 2 things. Who carries the risk in your tripartite relationships from a commercial perspective? And then how do you see the scale of this business working?
Okay, cool. So the risk is currently being carried by us at this point, as well as the credit providers. Direct relationship or direct with the transporter. We're currently exploring first loss insurance. We're struggling with getting an insurance provider that's willing to take us on at this point, but right now we are the ones carrying the risk. The second part, scale, we're working with logistics aggregators, hence the partnership with the UNDP, as well as clients such as Lorry Systems, that allow us to have access to thousands of transporters as resource efficiently as possible, as opposed to having to go out there and try and convince
I've squeezed in an extra few seconds, but thank you for that. And I will certainly note Lundi's question, probably for the next pitch. However, these are conversations we can continue towards the latter part of the engagement.
No problem.
Without saying, 30 seconds to the judges so that they can stew over the content that Google has shared. While that's happening, I will ask Nkamogeleng Matloka from Hunadi Cycle Projects to prepare their presentation. Please ensure you take this few seconds to start the process of sharing your screen, and I'll check in on you in 15 seconds. All right, are you ready to go, Nkamogeleng? We see your presentation. Audio checking. Are you ready to go? Just to let you know, we are not able to hear you at the moment. So if you are on mute, please unmute.
I couldn't find my unmute, sorry. And my slide was, can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see your presentation and we can hear you clearly. Matlatsi will start the timer the moment you begin speaking. All the best.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nkamogeleng Matloka, and I am the founder of Hunadi Cycle Projects, trading as B-Cycle SA. Why us? Why now? Because we all want a better future. We are creating a sustainable culture for future mobility. So I live in Pretoria, and the beautiful landscape comes with its challenges, worsening traffic, there's limited entry. I got the opportunity to visit France, where I found that they've implemented bicycles as an alternative transport, and I wanted to bring it home. I ordered bicycles from China, which traumatized me financially, and I thought South Africa needed to manufacture their own bicycles to successfully create this culture. The pain here is traffic congestion, lack of affordable alternative transportation, and overwhelming volumes of plastics in landfills. B-Cycle SA wants to reduce congestion and therefore less carbon emission, create cleaner communities, and support healthier alternative transport. We are targeting high school and university students who need an alternative transport for short distances. We reached out to our non-customers who thought bicycles are uncomfortable, not spacious, and we reached out to our riders who thought they were easier and refreshing. Then we also did a social media sentiment analysis where we found that bicycles are associated with unaffordability and they don't accommodate women's styles. Using these findings, we started on building the bike. We partnered with Bugodimo Enterprise, a recycling company, which allowed us to play around with different types of plastics. Then we started our design that accommodated our customer insights, like comfortable seat. We lowered the frame and added power generation. The process of using plastic is you sort the plastic, you wash it, you shred it, you mold it into the different parts, which are then assembled into a bike. We created 2 prototypes and we are now ready to apply for certification, 2 specific certification, compliance and product certification. Our business model aims to output 3 revenue sources: 5 rand per kilometer, sales at 2,600 per bike, and bulk rent to buy to attract distribution diversity. Our optimistic projection is to get 1 million in 12 months from rentals and 1 million in sales. We compete in 3 categories: price, sustainably sourced raw materials, and accommodative, innovative design. Our go-to-market strategy is to get certification, manufacture 50 bikes to kickstart rental revenue, and then start making money. This is the team. Myself, Nkamreleng, I'm the founder. Marvin is our designer. Tabang is Chief of Operations and Risk Management. Khadi is Chief of Marketing and Customer Experience. Our ask is 550,000 to cover the once-off cost of starting, which is mainly machinery, storage, and making the first batch of bikes. We invite you to join us as we support National Car Free Day. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you too for that very insightful pitch. I will ask the judges to raise their hands. Yep, Lundi, I see you right there. And please keep your questions succinct such that Nkamo has enough time to respond accordingly. Over to you.
Thank you so much for that. I think it's some great work that you guys are doing. I just wanted to find out, are there any patents that you guys are able to get on the designs? Thanks.
We are still in the process of doing that. We got help from an IP office from UNISA. They're helping us get that, but we haven't secured one yet.
Awesome.
So they did say that you guys can get patents, so it is patentable.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Great, talk about a very succinct one. Ziad, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, well done. I think it's certainly environmentally friendly and valuable to society. Have you tested the market in terms of the idea? And do you have a real feel of what the scale of this business is? Are you going to end up selling 1,000 bicycles or 100,000? I mean, just give us your feel on that, please.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So from our, when we're planning on getting the first revenue, we planned around selling at least 50 bikes per month. And also, we have started renting out bicycles with those bicycles that we bought from China, and they were very expensive. But we are renting them out, so we are getting customers that want to rent. And we also broadening our customer base by targeting those people that don't normally think of bicycles, like small businesses as well for deliveries, and also starting in the communities as well.
Awesome. Let's squeeze in Practica, please. Go ahead.
Thanks, and thank you for the great pitch. Also love the ESG angle and the impact that you're having on people's lives and the environment. My question is, or concern is, I mean, countries like Amsterdam or Asian countries where it's densely populated, bicycles are a successful and efficient mode of transport, but does it not concern you that South Africa and parts of Africa is very dispersed? So how do you plan on tackling the growth and demand of an offering like yours?
Yeah, thank you. So we have partnered with the City of Johannesburg, the Smart City Office, because they loved the idea and they have bicycle lanes that are not working. So what we're trying to do is start where it's possible. And the reason why we chose our target market as well is to make sure that that market is the one that will sort of advertise for us and grow the business, because they're the hip and happy ones.
I've squeezed in a few extra seconds for you. Well done on maximizing our that time. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
We will observe 30 seconds for the judges to stew everything that Nkamo has shared with us. In the meantime, I will ask Francisco Serra from Dove Air to prepare their presentation. I see your video is on. The presentation is ready. Awesome. I'll check in on you in the next 15 odd seconds.
Thank you.
All right, Francisco, I'm sure you now have a handle on how this cookie crumbles. 5 minutes to you, and Mahlatsi will start noting your time the moment you utter your first word. Over to you.
Thank you so much for hosting me. My name is Francisco. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Dove. We're a startup focused on instant medical access using unmanned aircraft. Over 2 billion people worldwide lack adequate access to healthcare products. This is further compounded by limited infrastructure throughout the continent, and additionally poor weather, like rain season throughout the summer. Our solution is using unmanned aircraft, which we call Doves, which enable instant, safe, and affordable access to healthcare products in remote parts of Africa, using drone logistics networks, which attach to existing supply chain infrastructure. A remote clinic in, say, northern Cabo Delgado in northern Mozambique can, on demand, request, say, for example, a blood type for a maternal mortality case for a mother hemorrhaging during pregnancy, and can ensure instant access within an hour, typically, that the correct blood type delivered in cold chain efficiently, safely, and affordably. Compared to our largest competitor, which is Zipline, it's a $2.5 billion startup, we're using long-range vertical takeoff drones. And the key advantage of our solution is that we're using 2 different innovations. Firstly, our aircraft are able to take off vertically, which enables multiple deliveries per flight mission, which optimizes our costs and operations, but additionally allows us to do reverse supply chain logistics. So, for example, we're able to pick up COVID tests or blood samples. Zipline, the world's largest drone logistics network, can only parachute goods, and they can't land at the destination and have a very limited range. The other solution that we're using fuel, which is typically synthetic fuel, which has very low emissions. And we're also testing in November a hydrogen fuel cell system, which we're developing in partnership with a technology partner in Germany. The other benefit of our solution is it's able to conduct multiple missions, not just logistics during the day, but in the evening when there's typically an idle time, we're able to perform additional tasks which subsidize our operations, in particular maritime conservation patrols. which we're using to actually subsidize a lot of our aid logistics for UNICEF and other commercial partners. Our impact to date is 35,000 deliveries. That's typically 10 flights with 3 deliveries per flight. A third of those are on-demand life-saving deliveries. In northern Mozambique, where there's currently a war, we've been credited at eliminating maternal mortality due to hemorrhaging, typically during pregnancy. We're profitable. We've generated over $2 million in the last 2 years, and we've created over 35 jobs in technology, design, manufacturing, and aerospace. In terms of our networks, we're currently expanding into UNICEF, which is in Sierra Leone, rather, which is a UNICEF-operated drone humanitarian corridor. We also have our flagship site in Mozambique, which is operating in the northern province. We're also expanding a few other agreements across Africa. In particular, we've signed off a federal government contract with both the state's government in Puntland in northern Somalia, but also the federal government in Mogadishu. We're also working on a pilot in Namibia on the Skeleton Coast and also in the Northeast region with UNICEF. In terms of our team, this is my second startup. I've been listed on Forbes for exiting my first technology company. I'm an investor. I've had over a dozen investments throughout the continent, mostly in technology companies. And I've also worked in Saudi Arabia as a venture capitalist, mostly in impact investment. The rest of the team include Marcel, he was global head of tuna. So he worked for FAO and also for WWF, leading their maritime conservation and humanitarian work throughout Africa. Also joined by William, who's also listed on Forbes. It's his second startup. He's worked for UNICEF, Thales, and Microsoft. We're also joined by Onolj Mpinga, who's leading our operations in Namibia, and he also works on government and government regulatory engagements. We're also hiring as part of this investment round our CTO, who's ex-Denel, 20 years. He used to have has a PhD. He's also taught at University of Johannesburg, and he's joining us as part of our seed round currently. We're also joined by advisors from across logistics, multilaterals, and humanitarian work as well. In terms of the market, drone logistics, not just aid logistics, is a massive market. It's currently valued at $1 trillion, and it's expected to go almost 10 times that by 2050. The aid logistics market itself is valued at $10 billion, but we expect to expand into other verticals that we're currently doing into commercial logistics, e-commerce delivery, and other sectors as well. We're currently raising a seed round. We've already had 25% committed from the Middle East. It gives us 18 months runway and allows us to fund 3 additional country sites, which we're structuring around mostly COVID vaccine and other vaccine deliveries, but also around maritime engagement. In terms of our current revenue for 2022, it's $2.3 million forecasted for the end of the year, including booked revenue. And we expect by next year, we should almost double that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Talk about ending right in the nick of time. Much appreciated, Francisco. I see we have our first question from Judge Grace. Over to you.
Hi, thanks very much. So there's 2 questions on my side. Very great presentation, and I think you are trying to meet a very good need. So one, if you could just please expand on your business model a little bit more on how you're generating revenue. I'm assuming so most of your clients is basically government, so it's B2G services. So that's the one. And then secondly, a bit more feedback. It would have been good to see a little bit more in-depth research on your competitive market, and maybe you could correct me on that. But for example, I know the likes of Cloudline, which is also in South Africa, they do aid logistics as well. So if you could just a bit of feedback there, that I think you could have gone a little bit more deeper on the competitive market, but you can correct me if I'm wrong.
So in terms of our key customers, typically it's 3 levels: multilaterals like UNICEF and aid groups, WFO. Secondly, we also work with governments, which tend to be the largest volume in flights, potentially the lowest in revenue. And thirdly, where we're making most of our profit and revenue, tends to be with commercial partners. So these could be logistics partners. Typically, at the moment, we're servicing both maritime oil and gas and also commercial logistics partners. Typically, for commercial logistics partners, we charge around $18 per package per 100 kilometers. So similar to a DHL model, basically. Because the aircraft are unmanned and only need 1 pilot per 5 aircraft, it's a very low cost of operations. In terms of a competitive market, if you compare it to, say, Cloudline, as you mentioned, they typically move 200 kilometers using a blimp. I mean, it's definitely an interesting model. I think they're pre-revenue. They haven't been able to secure an actual contract yet for logistics. The issue with using a large hydrogen-filled blimp is, well, you don't see blimps typically doing logistics generally. Making it unmanned does add a degree of innovation, which I'd like to see, obviously, additional players enter the market, but they're not much of a competitor in the space that we're in because we're on demand. They're typically moving at a few kilometers an hour. It's quite a different business model. But I think there's definitely space for these type of additional companies to be operating the same airspace, and I think it's good to see, particularly from Stellenbosch, an additional logistics company emerging. I think they raised a large round as well. Any other questions?
Literally again in the nick of time. Lindy, I see your hand is up. My question to you is, how short is your question? Is it short or short?
It's very short. It's very short.
Okay.
So from a regulatory perspective, considering the different places that you guys are operating, what considerations have you guys given there, and how complex is it?
So since COVID, there's been a lot of regulatory reform. So Kenya, for example, last April has introduced exemptions to operate beyond visual line of sight. As long as you have ADS-B on board, which is like a transponder, we use a larger aircraft, which allows us to have to facilitate the correct sensors and for safety and integration to civil aviation. So from a regulatory perspective, it's not too challenging. We do also operate typically sometimes in exemptions or maritime corridors to reduce the amount of time we're flying over populated areas, but very different.
Yep, I squeezed in.
Thank you.
So this brings us to the first part of the pitching round, where we've listened to 5 really awesome, really amazing pitches. And it's always encouraging to note that there are individuals doing amazing things in the entrepreneurial space. Let us take a 3-minute comfort break. Stretch your legs, grab that cup of coffee or what we call adult juice in the form of wine, and let us meet in the next 3 minutes so that we can take on the 5 pitches that will follow as we conclude 10 in total. And to give you a heads up of what we can anticipate, we'll have Bold Talent Incorporated, followed by Basket E-commerce, Nano Stream Blue, Formidable Technology, and lastly, Vitruvian MD. Let me repeat: Bold Talent Incorporated, Basket E-commerce, NanoStream Blue, Formidable Technology, and lastly, Vitruvian MD. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you in a few minutes. And to those 5 participants, ensure that your slides are ready, your backgrounds are seamless, and you're good to go. We'll chat again in a few.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Ormans, and thanks to the organizers, judges, the investors at today's Entrepreneurship World Cup National Finals. A very big special thanks, however, to all of our competitors, not just the doers and the dreamers of our society, but you're taking the risks. You're the ones that are helping us to navigate period of uncertainty, addressing some of the big challenges of our day, ranging from climate change to emerging from this pandemic, and of course, 4 of the frontier issues that are faced by our various industry verticals around the world. At Gen Global, we began our journey about 15 years ago focusing on startup community development and on supporting the entrepreneur and support organizations that help to make your path easier. 5 years ago, we decided to accelerate our work on the front line with youth founders. It was sparked and kicked off with Richard Branson, the opening of our first startup campus, the largest in Africa, 22 months slow in Johannesburg. And since then, we've reached more than 500,000 founders over the course of this last few years. We're very proud to say that in that process, it's required developing early stage investor networks around the world, grants programs, and of course provided a lot of accelerator support to launch the Founders Club. We're very, very excited to be intricately with you on this journey. So I want to invite you to stay with us. We're in it for the long haul. Get involved in one or more of our programs on the ground in those countries. Or come meet us in person. Our next live gathering, which we do every year, is called the Global Entrepreneurship Conference. The next one will be May 1 through 4, 2023 in Melbourne, Australia. So thanks for letting me take a few seconds to wish you luck today. Thank you for all you do. You're not just helping develop your own future, but that of your fellow citizens and the communities around you.
Thank you to Jonathan Ortmans, President of the Global Entrepreneurship Network, for certainly reminding us why we do what we do within the entrepreneurial space as practitioners, as entrepreneurs ourselves, as academia, private sector, the whole 9 yards. We all have important and critical roles to play across the entire value chain. Let us get into the last round of pitches. Getting straight into it, let me ask Simon Mokotloa from Bold Talent Incorporated. Simon, are you with us? All right, I see your video. Let me give you a few seconds to share your screen.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
While Simon is preparing to share his screen, just a kind reminder to everyone, remain on mute as well as switch off your videos, and all eyes are on his pitch. We're just waiting for it to show on our site.
Just a second.
As for the other 4 pitches that are still coming up, please ensure that you are equally ready on your side so as to maximize on the time that you have, not only to pitch, but also to receive the judges' questions.
Can everyone see my screen?
It's blank at the moment.
Ooh, okay, 1 minute.
Yeah, 1 minute and counting, my good sir. 1 minute and counting. These are the elements that one ought to prepare beforehand so as to maximize on time.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I see that you've shared your entire screen. Now, if you can locate your presentation, that will be great.
Boarding in progress.
Okay, I seem to be having small technical issues.
All right. So while you are sorting that out, let me ask the next presenter, Lunga Hamilton from Basket E-commerce. Lunga, are you ready with your pitch? Lunga Hamilton from Basket E-commerce.
He'll be joining at 2:30.
All right, noted. On to the third pitch. Randir Ratawal from NanoStream Blue. Randir, are you with us? Checking in, Randir from NanoStream Blue.
Yes, doctor. Yes,
doctor. Ooh, all right. Am I going to assume that Edison Shumba will be presenting on behalf of NanoStream Blue? All right, let's try the fourth pitch. Landile Mabele from Formidable Technology. Landile, are you in?
Yes, I'm in. How are you doing?
Is your presentation ready?
Yes.
All right.
Apologies.
Let me give you a few seconds to set it up. While he's doing that, fellow participants, these are the small things that make a big difference in how you present that product or that service that you offer. So, yes, we can hear you.
Is my screen being shared?
Yes, you can put it into presenter mode. All right, you have 5 minutes and Mahlatsi will start recording when you utter your first word. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Landile Mabele. Thank you for this honor. So apologies just that I'm in a class right now. But thank you for this honor to present to you today. My name, my company name is called Formidable Technology, and our product is called Gluconate. Just before I start, I'd like to give you a background story on how Gluconate started. So my grandfather succumbed to a heart attack, and to my knowledge, I later found out that it was due to his diabetes, as it was very high. So he found it very hard to manage, monitor, and track his glucose level in real time, as he was a pensioner and he used to buy those test strips, which were very expensive, and didn't have the time to buy or the money to buy them. So our solution or the problem we have found is that over 90,000 people have died over due to diabetes, and globally 1.5 million people have died due to diabetes, and 4.5 million are suffering with diabetes here locally in South Africa, and it is estimated to increase. And per strip, you would pay R4, and it will, on average, a person usually puts themselves 1 to 7 times a day, and that equates to 27 rands. Our solution is a real-time monitoring device that monitors glucose levels of the wearer and monitors the health vitals of the wearer and monitors everything in real time, minute by minute, providing a real-time monitoring system and monitors vitals such as heart rate, oxygen saturation, and e-hailing service. So which will enable doctors to monitor patients from the comfort of their home. Our market size. The market size is 4.63 million people globally which are suffering with diabetes, which is evaluated at $27.1 billion. And our service available market, which is going to be valued at 172 million by year 2027, is 53 million. And our service obtainable market is 4.5 million. Our target market is people living with diabetes from the age of 18 to 44 and 44 to 60, as this is the age group which is highly affected by diabetes. And our second market is public hospitals and private hospitals, as we've seen that they do not have the proper monitoring tools to monitor diabetes. And why should it be expensive when you can offer them a solution? What makes this different from our competitor? Our device, from the point of strap-on, it's able to monitor glucose level in real time, minute by minute, and because our competitor's device, you have to change on a 7-day basis. And we have an e-hailing service, which will enable a digital healthcare system, enabling doctors to monitor patients out of hospital, and it's much more convenient and does not have any needles. You just strap it on and be able to monitor you continuously. Our business model, we have a subscription business model where our members will pay as little as 50 rands to 230 per month. please meet our team. I'm the CEO. I have experience in electronics, product design, and 3D development. 3D design. So please meet our CTO, our software developer, and our COO, Dr. Zekonis Nursing. Our milestones and timeline. The project started in 2020 as a response to COVID, which then later transpired to having designing solutions for people suffering from glucose level. And earlier on this year, we have received funding from Moses Kotana and won first place in the health category. And this year, we have won an award in the SA Innovation Summit for first place. We are looking for an investment of
We'll give him a few seconds while his network stabilizes.
Is so that the software and hardware that will be we thank you for your time, and we are looking forward to your assistance.
Awesome. Thanks, Landile. And I must say, shout out to you for being a proper entrepreneur. Despite where you're at, you still got dressed up, made a plan, you showed up. So thanks for that. Let me ask if the judges, all right, Dr. Patrick, I see your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the passion and the wonderful presentation. My question is related to your business model. How scalable is this business model? And are you just focusing on issues of miscellaneous?
Dr. Patrick, could you just please repeat that? Zoom kicked me out just before I could share the first opening of your question.
I'm referring to how scalable is your business model, the scalability of your business model.
Yes. So the scalability of our business model, we will charge people for a licensing fee for our technology, where we will charge you a subscription-based fee just to utilize the services of our platform. Then in terms of scalability, we will partner up with medical aid insurance in terms of a broader approach business to business, where we can now do business with them in order to access more clients, and as well partner up with overseas companies in terms of now reaching the global markets, as we've seen that many people suffer with diabetes worldwide.
Thanks, Dr. Patrick. Ziad?
Yeah, thanks very much, Landile. Just in terms of competition with hands, devices, I mean, watches and all of those types of things have become quite sophisticated nowadays. I'd just be interested in your thoughts and comments around the VAT angle and how that's been scaling in the market versus getting another piece of equipment on your hand.
So just to answer that question, with the latest technology, it's just that we have seen that there is a market in terms of, we have seen that there isn't a technology which is dedicated to real-time monitoring, because as you said, our technology will use a non-invasive method. And in terms of that, we can potentially partner up with companies in the smart wearable devices, because they haven't mastered that glucose monitoring using a non-invasive method.
Landile, just checking. Are you still with us?
Yes.
Time is up.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you to the judges' questions. Let's observe 30 seconds of silence while they stew over the content Landile has presented. In the meantime, I'll ask Iftikhar Sheikh from Vitruvian to prepare their presentation. Takara, I see your video is on. Can you prepare the presentation? And I'll check in on you in the next 12 odd seconds. All right, Iftikhar, are you good to go?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, nice and clear. Mahlatsi will start to time you from the moment you utter your first word. All the best.
Okay. I could start off by shocking you with the facts, telling you how bad the state of healthcare is. But instead, I'll make it real for you and share a true story. You see, if you chose a person at random in South Africa, chances are she'd be female, age 26, and dependent on public healthcare. So let's call her Jane. Jane presents to a clinic with symptoms of bruising and fatigue. The nurse recommends her for blood testing. So at the lab, a sample is taken and processed through a blood analyzer. The results show abnormalities that need expert investigation. So enter the problem. With an average of one pathologist for every 1 million people, no expertise was on site, and so the sample needed to be transported 100 kilometers to be seen. Due to logistic and infrastructure-related delays, the sample was seen by the doctor 72 hours later, by which time Jane had died. It was found that she had thrombotic thrombocytopenic purpura, a blood condition that if found early has a 90% survival rate, but if found late, 90% mortality. Now, the question we should ask is, how do we save other Janes? Now, the answer should be technology, right? Well, despite being critical to 70% of all diagnoses, 80% of all labs still operate under analog processes because digitizing is expensive. I'm Iftikhar Sheikh, the co-founder of Vitrivian MD, and we have the solution. See, we make diagnostic skills available on demand by putting the pathologist in the cloud. How? Well, in two ways. First, we developed a low-cost, high-quality camera that fits on any microscope and allows samples to be digitized and transmitted instantly to any doctor anywhere in the world, narrowing the time to analysis from 72 hours to 5 minutes. Then our AI-powered software augments the abilities of lower-skilled staff to perform consistently accurate, real-time analyses that assist doctors in identifying urgent cases. The same platform can be used as an education tool using our AI to teach staff features of the diseases that they're looking for. Now, the sum of parts increases accuracy, reduces turnaround time, and scales scarce human skills. We focused on building a robust infrastructure, and as a consequence, we're applicable in any field of microscopy analysis. And because of this, we stumbled on something interesting. You see, we started off in the business of saving lives, but now we also find ourselves relevant in the business of creating life. We're currently patenting our world-first technique that uses our AI to select the best quality sperm for assisted reproduction, which we hope will bring the 200 million people struggling with fertility a happy ending. There's nothing in the market that can provide our quality and accuracy consistently and in a manner that's easy to use, fits into existing operating procedures at a price point that enables mass adoption and is accessible from anywhere. And our clients and partners know this, and it is why, despite being a deep tech company, we're progressing so fast on our development, our relationships, and our traction. We've deployed over 20 devices in 6 countries under pilots. We're already generating revenue. We have strong investors from our first seed round. We've partnered with big name lab groups, are building the largest AI diagnostic database in Africa, and have a pipeline of business that will see us break even by the end of 2023. But break even is only the start. We're going after a $3 billion revenue opportunity in emerging markets. And let's remember, as long as population grows, the need for us grows, and hence our opportunity grows. Now, to get there, we've adopted a business model that makes our tech accessible to labs of any size. Our camera and software suite are priced to enable our AI as a service offering, which will drive our profit growth. Utilizing strategic partnerships with distribution companies, we anticipate breaking even within the next 18 months as we realize high margins in a market that is defensive and predictable. Now, delivering on this is a team of highly skilled individuals bringing expertise in business, engineering, and AI development from the most reputable institutions in Africa. Our strategic relationships with experts and major medical groups allow us to scale our tech to any field by plugging in relevant expertise when needed. So why am I standing here? Well, we're in the process of raising a new round. We have 50% committed of the $1.5 million that we're looking for to grow our team, complete our patent work, and obtain regulatory approval. In addition, we're looking for partnerships with new labs in other countries. So if changing the world resonates with you, join us. And together, let's make accessibility a reality. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Iftikhar. Judges, we have 2 minutes to ask questions. Zia, I see you are ready.
Yeah, well done. Well presented. It seems like your business model is pretty good. You're already 50% way there. Seems like you've got some really large customers. Can you just talk to us a little bit about your traction in the market already and why the second round of funding just elevates your scale? Because it's not starting now, right? You already success and basically just need to realize the full potential. So perhaps you can give us a perspective on that. Thanks.
Cool. So, our first round was really around making sure that this idea, what we had, was be able to create it and that we could build a product that really suited the need in the market. And over the period of time since our first race to now, that's what we've actually proved. And we brought in all of these partners. Now, for us to really grow, for us to be able to sell in all the other countries and actually commercialize across, outside of South Africa, we do need to achieve certain things. And those things take quite a bit of time. The main important thing of that is our regulations, so FDA and CE. And effectively, this round will give us a runway to see that process through. And then we'll be able to start entering into that J-curve part of our growth.
Great. Hungry, please go ahead.
Thanks, Iftikhar. Maybe just highlight some reasons why your team is special to execute on this business yet technical business model. Thanks.
So we have, so in our team, we've got a lot of mathematical experience, and this is really a mathematical business. What we've sought to do is take intelligence and codify it and make it accessible in the space of medical diagnostics. If you have a look at our team, we've got 3 qualified actuaries. I've got my master's in applied mathematics and computer science focusing on artificial intelligence. My other co-founder who leads our science is a very well-cited researcher and a professor of applied mathematics. We then also have biomedical engineers who are brilliant at what they do. And then, like I said, we bring in this mathematical and AI skills, and then we augment that with strategic advisors and medical partners to tackle all different fields of medicine or diagnostics.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Iftikhar. Succinct questions and succinct responses. Let's give the judges 30 seconds to stew over the content we've shared. In the meantime, I'll ask Simon Muktokoa from Bold Talent to prepare his pitch once again and ensure the functionalities come with ease. All right, Simon, I see your presentation. Are you good to go? Mic checking, Simon.
Sorry about that. I was having an issue with the mute button now. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Mahlatsi will start recording the moment you utter your first word. All the best.
Good day, everyone. My name is Simon Mokotwa, and I'm a computer programmer, and I'm here today to tell you about Bold Talent. But before I speak about Bold Talent, I'd just like to throw around some names, and you could ask yourself if you actually know these names. Aisha Musa, Essien Makarimba. And if the question is no, which is most likely, that feeds into what the actual problem is. You see, the problem is that in youth football, especially in townships, or rather not just youth football, but youth sports in townships, there's a lack of exposure of talented athletes. And this is due to the fact that there's no platform for them to showcase their talents, and there's no platform for scouts to actually view this talent. This also affects like the teams or clubs that they play for, where it's really impossible to go back, analyze their games, and actually help improve some of these athletes move from amateur stage to professional stage. So then what is the solution? Well, the solution is a web-based platform which we have come to call Bold Talent. So what does Bold Talent do exactly? We gather important statistics and data like the height of a player, the weight of the player, even the foot they use to play, as well as important match stats like goals, red cards. But we also pair that with footage so that it is important for scouts to see how well these athletes play with other teammates on the platform, or rather wherever they perform. Now, our business model works in this way. Our key activities include recording, which is of the footage of the players, software development, which is actually the platform whereby you can access all the data and view the footage. And of course, data capturing, which is essential for scouts and agencies in the sporting community to make informed decisions when it comes to scouting a player. Now, the key resources are obviously videographers who take the footage or record the footage, the software development and cloud, where we actually host our platform and our data as well. Now, key partners would be the local sporting associations, which we are actually working with the Pimville Klipspruit Regional League, as well as the GDL League and the Cecil Women's League. This also includes sporting governing bodies like SAFA. So our revenue, well, we have multi-pronged revenue streams. The first is obviously a subscription where the scout will pay a subscription. Just to clarify something, these are verified scouts. We don't just let anyone be a scout on our platform. Remember, we're dealing with very essential player data. This also includes recording, which is an adjacent service, and we also do analysis. So we build it. Yes.
I want to confirm, is your presentation moving? We've been looking at the same slide.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, it's been, I'm on the 5th slide.
All right. We're not able to see the slides moving.
Let's find out what's going on. Just give me a second.
All right.
Wow.
So Mahlatsi will pause your time while we try and sort that out.
Sure. Okay, let's do this.
Yes, now we see the movement. Awesome. Please go ahead. And remember to unmute. A gentle nudge to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is a prototype that we built back in 2019, just to test and understand if the market is ready for something like this, or if the market even needs anything like this. So this would include a homepage where we have highlights for anyone to view, player profiles where players can display the important stats, and as well as footage of the actual matches. Since then, we've seen over 6,000 users going to the app, watching the videos, and on top of that, even requesting for us to actually sign them up. So remember the names I asked about firstly. So through our adjacent service, we've been able to help Aliyah get scouted and move to Glasgow in Scotland. Essien has moved from Jomo Cosmos to Mamelodi Sundowns. Aisha Musa has moved from DK Ladies, which is a local club, to UJ Football. And we also had Katrina Maguire, who played for Crusace Ladies, moved to Cyprus for a team known as Eris Limassol. So what is the next step for us? The next step is to actually deploy version 2, which will be a paid for product where scouts can actually sign up, get verified, and then have access to this crucial player data and footage. This will also enable clubs to also be able to upload their content there, upload the important stats, which will be crucial in analyzing how well their teams play. So this is our scout dashboard, which is essential. This will highlight how well a player is. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Simon. And 2 minutes are afforded to the judges to ask you questions.
Awesome.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So,
so Simon, I mean, a lot of this is already taking place in Europe with all the large sports events. They track, all of these types of data analytics. What market do you specifically target, and why do you think there is still an opportunity in that particular area? Thanks.
Sure. So right now we're looking at local, and rather, let me say, for now it's local leagues in South Africa, because if you consider only around 3 players who moved from South Africa to Europe or internationally within the past 2 years. And you could say COVID, but even before then, the numbers were low, showing that talent discovery in South Africa is fairly poor. So we've gone down to our local clubs and our local leagues, because we feel like there's a huge gap there. No players get exposure, therefore almost no players get scouted.
Yeah, I just want to follow up with that, since I really like your
Sure.
response, because I think there's a definite need at the right price point to expose talent and to bring the data and AI in, right? So well done.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
awesome. Thanks, Ziad. Hungry, I saw your hand as well. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so thanks, Simon. From your presentation, I'm interested in the actual data collection. Are you collecting the data from the video footage that you have, or do you have some other service that you are offering to the player themselves to get actual stats, much like you would get on StatsBomb? That's the first question. Also, just expand on your team and why.
Okay, sure. So with the first question, well, we do it works in 2 ways. Firstly, we have a data gatherer who will actually be on the field collecting those stats. And then remember, there's 2 types of stats that we collect. This is the personal information, which would be the height,
wonderful idea.
which would be the height, the weight, and all that. That is the player's personal data. Then there's the match data, where we have a analyst, or rather a data capture, who will actually watch the games and then in conjunction with the video, see if this data correlates. And then on the second part, which is my team. So firstly, I did computer science and mathematics. So I cover most of the software development part and the data analytics. Okay.
Right in the nick of time. Thank you, Simon.
Thanks for
Thank
that.
you to the judges for their questions. Let me ask if Lunga Hamilton is in.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Please put up your presentation in the meantime while we give the judges 30 seconds to deliberate over the past pitch.
Okay, I'll put it up.
Are you good to go, Lunga? I'm not seeing your presentation coming up.
Yeah, just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll share the presentation now. Okay. Okay.
You coming all right?
I don't know if you can see the presentation.
It is loading. I will confirm briefly. Yes, we can see it. We can put it in printer mode.
Perfect. So you can see the presentation.
Yes.
Perfect. I'll get the go again from you.
Right. Mahlatsi will start to time you the moment you utter your first word. All the best.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lunga Hamilton Mimosa, the co-founder of Basket e-commerce. So at Basket is an agri-tech startup that heavily focuses on creating a market that directly connects fresh produce farmers. We're talking about small-scale farmers to medium-sized farmers directly to the informal retail market in South Africa, talking about sponsorship owners, street vendors located in different townships. The problem that we untapped or discovered in Basket is that there's a very big unsustainable there's a very difficulties in terms of street vendors and sponsorship owners to access, produce, and have sustainable income and trade, whereas they have a direct and sustainable method of having a sustainable business. Whereas there's so many areas of concern, such as they have lack of access to credit, high exposure to criminal activities, and obviously have a lack of accurate stock management. Whereas our market segmentation is split between the two. So we have informal merchants in different townships with small-scale farmers located in different townships. And what happens is that many of them, they're quite close to each other, but there's a broken circular economy between the two. So one has a lack of access to a market to supply to, and one has a lack of market to buy from. So here we have Nombeliso is a street vendor located in Kalmand in Stellenbosch. So for her, she experienced quite a number of problems, such as having to wake up early hours in the morning, go to centralized marketplace, whereas she doesn't have access to transport, she doesn't have access to discount, and for her, once she runs out of stock, she doesn't have any other ways of accessing stock in terms of to make sure that she doesn't lose profit. And here we have Unumisa, which is a small-scale farmer located in Kailija. Her biggest pain is actually having a market to sell to, because as we understand in South Africa, there's a big market that's saturated by commercial farmers, making it difficult for smallholder farmers to penetrate the market. Whereas the current model now is that for many of them, they have to go to a direct wholesale or centralized produce place, and we presents that it doesn't have delivery and doesn't offer them discount. And what Basket presents is that we present an innovative solution where we draw the two together, where we allow farmers to have a market to sell to, which are the informal merchants in different townships. Whereas we, on our business model, we allow 3.5% on transaction, and we also facilitate an instant delivery, because for many of our stakeholders in our market lack delivery or lack logistics. Whereas Basket allows them to have pre-negotiated discounts, to be able to track the stock, and also to give them that safe delivery assurance. Furthermore, what we do is that we bring fast and simple shopping, and what we do is that affordability and conveniency. And furthermore, what we're planning to do in terms of like our MVP and our short-term marketing strategies, that we want to do a lot of in-field and in-person marketing, because most of our market is still traditionally based. And furthermore, our team is headed by myself, Ulunga, an economics student with Ufuyani, heading up marketing, and the CF heading up research and development. And furthermore, we have made a couple of achievements by being part of the launch app in Stellenbosch, and also being part of working with the Silicon Cape in Cape Town. Furthermore, in year one, which is the year that we're doing that, is that we're busy piloting our prototype in Kayamand and in Kailija. And in year 2, we want to focus more on allowing and penetrating the market and expanding into different townships. And in year 3, we want to make sure that we have the final product that's swift and efficient and deployed across South Africa. What we're asking is that we're asking for key partnerships and mentorships and very key guidance and collaboration with other startups. In terms of collaboration, we heavily looking to partner with a very upcoming fintech company that can be able to penetrate the township market, because what we're experiencing is that the market is really quite cash-based, and we understand hence we started not aggressively introducing an app, but at least introducing a chatbot to allow the informal merchants to have a feel of a bit of technology. And as we move along, that's we're going to introduce even more features that allow them to have a more online payment. And the key partners that we have partnered with is, FinTech Labs, Telkom, and Signal Cape, as I mentioned. And thank you.
Thank you so much for a succinct presentation. Judges, your 2 minutes start now. Ziad?
Thanks. I'd just like to get an understanding of what technology platform you're using in order to scale this business.
So thank you very much for the question, sir. So what we're doing now is that, as I said, that we didn't want to aggressively introduce a foreign technology into this market, because if you must understand, the township market is a different market compared to the formal market. So it is that we had to learn the hard way, where we introduced the app, we lost it, and we got minimum response. So when we pivoted to going into introducing the chatbot, we got quite a big number of response from the informal merchants, because what we noticed that for many of them, they have a high usage on WhatsApp. So introducing a chatbot was the most efficient and convenient way from us, because it allowed us to penetrate the market and be able to sign up even more merchants. Because the app is, there's things like data costs and stuff that you have to look at. Things like a chatbot, it makes sense to them.
No, that's absolutely right. But there's multiple ways now, and I like the idea. So that's why I want to expand on it. There are multiple ways of linking chat into other platforms so you can still get the benefit, right? It doesn't always have to be built off a blockchain or to have sophisticated front-end technology. So I just say think about that, because chat into other forms is certainly possible. So you can still get the benefit of all of that. But good content. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Ziad. Practica?
Thanks for the presentation. Also agree with Ziad. It's a huge market opportunity, not only in South Africa, but across the continent, in terms of capturing that informal market and informal sector. I would also be interested to understand, how do you plan on de-risking that cash component? And a suggestion would be to look at a form of a wallet, because I think the distributors that you're looking to stock the spaza shops with may be interested in that. But I like the idea, huge market opportunity, and good luck with fundraising and building your product.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thanks, Practica. On to our last pitch for the day, NanoStream Blue. I don't see Randir in the room. I'd like to ask who will be presenting NanoStream Blue's pitch.
Yes, it's me, Edson, who's going to be presenting NanoStream Blue.
All right, perfect.
Thank
As
you.
we give the judges 30 seconds, I'll ask that you set up your presentation, and I'll give you a heads up when you can start.
Thank you. I just want to see here.
We can see your presentation. If you are ready, you can put it in presenter mode.
Okay, just give me a minute.
A minute? Oh,
a second.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Mahlatsi will start to time you the moment you utter your first word. All the best.
Thank you so much. My name is Edson. I am the co-founder to Autoscholar. What is our big idea? The Autoscholar advises a suite of online systems designed to automate and optimize every level of higher education process towards increased graduation rates. The problem that we are trying to solve is simply low graduation rates, where only 25% of entering students in South Africa complete in minimum time. This leads to skills shortage in the country, low subsidy to academics institutions, and increased student debt. And over the years, we've found that student debt is a crippling global phenomenon. Students commit to a higher level of debt with no guarantee of employment or even graduation. Our solution, therefore, is an Autoscholar system which uses artificial intelligence, data science, and machine learning to understand the progress by students and performance in courses and academic programs. The system auto-generates real-time academic advice to both staff, students, and encourages staff to share teaching and learning content across institutions securely. This gives students, lecturers, and support staff the time needed to reach out, make changes, and stay on track. Our revenue model, our average annual license fee is 450,000 charged to the higher education institution. With regards to our value proposition, we can estimate the return on investment to an institution. We estimate the current loss of subsidy based on the failure rate. Then we calculate the increase in subsidy. Autoscholar is costed at only 10% of increased income of only 2% improvement in the pass rate. And the observation so far is that Autoscholar has led to 12 to 25% increase in graduation rate. With regards to attraction, we have onboarded University of Cape Town, University of KwaZulu-Natal, and Durban University of Technology. We are currently turning over an annual income of 2.5 million, which translates to $170,000. We have also got interest from Cape Peninsula University and University of Witwatersrand. Offshore, we have also have expression of interest from Indiana University, USA, Georgia State University, USA, and Multimedia University in Malaysia. With regards to the major competitors, directly we are in competition with Blackboard, ClassTime. However, Autoscholar Advisor is the only system that predicts student performance and exposes future gatekeeper courses. It's also the first product that has an offline mode for students where they can test themselves with immediate results. The industry outlook, the EdTech market is growing, with the EdTech market value for 2021 being 74.2 billion, estimated to increase to 288.4 billion by 2031. The aggregate demand, we're looking at 14.5%. The team includes our founder, Professor Raatla, myself, and Joash Kirsten. For required funding, we require $350,000, which 25% will go to tech, 50% will go to marketing, HR will take 20%, and 5% will go to our operational cost. Thank you.
Team members page. We missed you from the team members page.
Sorry, it's cutting a little bit. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes. Please start again from the team members page.
Okay, our team includes myself, Professor Randa Rautler, who is our founder and director, and Joash Kirsten, who is in operation and strategy. We also boost an advisory board, which includes experienced academics across universities in South Africa.
All right. Safe to assume you have concluded?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Edison. Judges, the 2 minutes starts now. Dr. Patrick?
Thank you so much for the presentation. My first question to you is how scalable is your business model?
It's our revenue model. It's a software that we connect via API to different institutions. So basically, our total addressable market includes all the higher education institutions all over the world. That is, we have over 20,000 higher education institutions. Inclusive of that is over 1,225 in Africa. So we are targeting all the higher education institutions in Africa and the world at large.
Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Patrick. Ziad?
Yeah, thanks. Well done, Patrick. Just a quick question. Highly competitive market. And you certainly have, thought about your operating model and how you're going to get to different customers. Do you have any tangible research or any actual feel in terms of the stickiness of this?
Yes, definitely. We did consider the competitiveness, but we are narrow when it comes to our pain and gain solution. We are saying that we are coming in to improve the graduation rates, and we do so by our system, to which we narrow our solution to an increase, an improvement to the graduation rate, and that's has been our pain and gain solution strategy. Other than the broader solutions that are within the market that does a whole lot of things with regards to EdTech. And also considering how EdTech as a market is growing, I have shared in the numbers with regards to the size of the market itself and its predictable aggregate demand. You can see that it's still growing as institutions are looking into innovative ways and to improve the education system.
Awesome. Let me interject there and ask Dr. Patrick, how short is your question?
Very short.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. On the issue of the graduation rate, how do you go about that?
Edison, did you catch the question?
Yes, so I had a break on
in terms of the graduation rate. You mentioned that one of the reasons your value prop is to improve graduation rate. My question is, how do you go about that to improve that graduation rate?
Well, so we are a suite of online systems, and we have different modules.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, I suppose Edison's network is being affected by gremlins, but your question was answered, right, Dr. Patrick?
No, all is well.
All right. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the 10 pitches. I will ask my colleague, Mhlasi, to prepare a breakaway room for the judges to deliberate a little more and identify the top 3 winners, primarily the national finalists that will have a chance to compete with other national winners from across the world. As that is happening, we, the audience, are going to enjoy some really interesting insights as well as feedback from 2 of our very own EWC 2021 national winners. Let me check if Claiborne is in. Claiborne Athletes? There we go. Hi, Claiborne. Good to see you, as always. And thank you so much for making time. Let me just introduce you first, and then we can get into the crux of what EWC did for you, as well as to share some points of growth, words of reflection, and any other insight that can continue to encourage the top 10 finalists to endeavor within their journey. So, ladies and gentlemen, Claiborne Athletes is the founder and CEO of Deaf Touch, a company that aims to connect the world to the deaf through their accessible communication solutions that enable effective and efficient between the deaf and blind, as well as organizations such as public sector, private sector, in the hopes and aim of empowering diversity, equality, and inclusion. Claiborne, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll give you a stage for a good 5 minutes, and the other 2 will allow some of our participants to engage you further by asking a question or 2. Over to you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I don't know what else is left to say after that awesome introduction. So I think I would have to say thank you and goodbye, everyone. You have said it all.
Very funny.
So firstly, I'm a strong believer in the ethos that it takes an ecosystem to raise a startup. This is an adage that has been adapted from the African proverb, in fact, that it takes a village to raise a child. So I, for one, do not believe that there is anything like a one-man show or what do they call it? The popular saying is a self-made man. Because unfortunately, if we are to admit and be truthful to ourselves, we cannot do this journey on our own. It's impossible. Whether you are a founder with a brilliant idea that is going to change the world, you cannot take that idea even to your neighbor without the help of someone else. So EWC has really been an exceptional platform for us in that it provided us with such amazing tools to be able to refine our business model, and really be able to take that which we have done as an organization and give it to the world. And that for us was exceptionally amazing because, believe you me, it's not easy building a brand that will be recognized globally. And EWC did that for us seamlessly through its network partners such as 22 and Sloan, and then also obviously the Global Entrepreneurship Network. And through this, we've been able to now confidently get to a place where our business is ready to access the market and truly transform the telecommunications sector by using or focusing on inclusion and using accessibility as our tool. So I cannot, to all the entrepreneurs on this call, reiterate what a wonderful platform EWC is. And more importantly, to encourage you to really tap into the network and the myriad of resources that is available to you to build your business, but also scale. So I'm quite excited to see the list of entrepreneurs. I'm excited to see the level of ideas that are coming to life, and in some cases, businesses that have introduced new models that really will revolutionize the global market. And so I think my word in closing to each and every single one of you on this call is, don't be shy. Africa is on the rise, and we have what it takes to solve global problems in the most comprehensive manner, because we have truly been through the fire, if I have to say it myself, and we've really established ourselves as a global competitor to solving great problems. So don't be afraid. never ever feel that you are inferior to anyone, especially when you come up to the organizations that you will in the next rounds for the top 3. Whether it's Europeans, whether it's Americans, doesn't really matter. We have what it takes, and be confident, because it's that confidence, apart from grace, that saw us actually reach the top 25 last year, which was a phenomenal experience. So I hope that that would inspire each of you on the score to really give it your all, but most importantly, to do so fearlessly, boldly, and courageously. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Claiborne. Let me ask any of our participants if they've got specific questions, not just about your experience, but the product and service offering that you have. Any questions at all? Unless the heebie-jeebies still have everyone. Okay, it seems that everyone is very comfortable with what the EWC has to offer. Most importantly, the pointers and experiences that Claiborne has shared. Thank you so much for setting the tone, Claiborne. With that being said, judges, I can see that you're still in the room. While it's being sorted out, can I ask that you maximize on the judging Excel sheet in the meantime, such that by the time you do deliberate, all the numbers are adding up. With that being said, the second individual that we would love to hear from is Joseph Yamaritawa, who is the founder and CEO of Simple Influence, a platform that enables the best content creators in the world to monetize their talent through coaching and courses. Joseph, are you there? Awesome.
Yeah.
Please tell us a little more about your experiences, share some nuggets about the impact that EWC has had, and some takeaways that the participants can equally stew over.
Cool beans. I hope you can hear me clearly. So I think the first thing I want to say is thank you for the opportunity to share my humble opinion on the experience that we had with EWC. But I would say maybe the first, I'm just going to drive straight into it. The biggest thing that the competition did for us was it at least enabled us to pitch this idea against, national ideas and also international ideas. Because sometimes you come up with an idea in your room and you have this excitement and fail to realize that the moment you had your idea, possibly 10 other people had the same idea. So having the opportunity or the platform to pitch it against other amazing entrepreneurs and actually progress is actually, I think, something that's unique to the EWC. Because at the moment, with that in mind, you're able to be rest assured that you're solving a problem that is a global, at least global implications, right? And one thing that I did realize also from our experience with the EWC is that you need to start with the globe in mind, right? Even though you're starting with South Africa or your township or whatever the case may be, but you need to get into the mindset of once we crack this business model in my township or in my country, does it have scalability, implications as well, where we can apply this on a global scale? Because in that situation, that's when you're at least able to attract funding, to attract partners who will start with you and go with you even the long way. Because one of the things that most entrepreneurs struggle with in the beginning is having that backing, like what Claiborne was saying, that you need an ecosystem to work with you. But I think the truth of the matter is most people are attracted to big ideas. Most people are attracted to people that are solving big problems. right? So I would ensure people to, or rather encourage people to look at the way your business model is set up, and don't be scared to pivot to tackle a much bigger problem, right? Just because you've started solving a problem that's not relevant to you should not be an excuse for you to fall in love with that idea and not taking the feedback you're getting from the ecosystem, right? And one other thing that I loved about the EWC is that you certainly get out what you put in, right? So the EWC has a lot of resources that it gives you, and also a lot of connections that it gives you. And most of the time is, if you, like what Claiborne was saying, if you're not shy, you put yourself out there, you communicate, you interact with all the resources and the programs, you certainly get the most out of it. For us, we're able to get in touch with Thinkubate, we're able to get in touch with subsequent competitions where we won awards, which were able to increase the credibility of our idea and attract more partners within the ecosystem. And I would say maybe the last thing is that looking at some of the people that were pitching here, I think Tamo was talking about those bicycles, right? With the EWC, you have, I think, access to international stakeholders, right? Which are able to draw knowledge from, right? So that when you're implementing something, I think there's a saying that goes, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So most of the lessons that people have learned in France, in whatever other nation, you can actually apply those, and don't be scared, obviously, to apply them to your solution, so that you're not making the same mistake that other people made, but you're actually taking it a step further from where they left off, right? So I think, in closing, you get what you put in, and being sure that you position your solution for the global market, even though you're starting locally. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Joseph, for simply echoing what your colleague Claiborne has shared, and just really solidifying that importance of liking things, of being intentional about such platforms and identifying areas where a business can cultivate and grow. Are there any particular questions, thoughts from the top 10 finalists that you want to pose for Joseph? See, when people don't ask questions, I get worried. I'm like, either you have everything sorted out, or you're very shy and still have the heebie-jeebies. Ladies and gentlemen,
a little bit intimidating.
Maximize on such platforms to co-create, share ideas, even those pain points, because you never know what one individual can ask that will have a positive impact on the decision you're about to make. All right, I'm happy I'm seeing a hand. Please unmute, switch on your video, and share your thoughts or question.
Thank you. Switch on my video. I already got comfortable.
Okay, all right, it's fine. Thanks for the heads up. We would not want to be shocked. So please go ahead.
Yeah, this hand is maybe representative. I think everyone gets it, and they are encouraged. I think one question I would ask also to Claiborne as well is how your businesses changed from after you won, and from those benefits that you got, because sometimes you get opportunities and benefits, but have they improved your business, and in what way? How have you grown? And what are some of the things that you think you, like every entrepreneur, needs from this platform?
Yeah, so that's actually a good question, right? And I did touch on it in terms of pivoting. For us, as a matter of fact, we pivoted to a point where even our name changed, right? So on the EWC website, you see that our website is South African Influencers, right? And like I said, we were creating for the South African market, but with feedback and just talking to people within the EWC ecosystem, we then realized that obviously that that was not the best way to start. So I would say being part of the EWC ecosystem at least helps you see that, because without it, or not to say that you're not intelligent or whatever the case may be, but having a perspective that's outside of your room, because when you're creating, you're literally by yourself, you're in your head. But now, if you're open to that feedback from an international audience, especially, it will help you kind of see what blind spots you had, right? And give you the courage to pivot and change. And I think for us, one of the things that pivoted was also part of the business model also changed. Like I said, we moved away from just impacting a small problem to impacting a much bigger problem, right? Which we know that will exist in multiple markets, as opposed to just the market that we were kind of experiencing at the time. And most of that also came from this hearing feedback, looking at what we're doing and seeing how we can pivot. And I think one thing that's also very important is that competitions are not an excuse for you to sort of like take a step back and actually run your business, right? So you're only gonna have the top 3 right now, but everyone else, that should not be an excuse for you to then kind of give up on your business idea. The best way to work on your pitch, like I always say, is to work on your business. Speak to your customers. They're the ones you're doing this for. So at the moment, the best feedback that you ever get is obviously from customers. And you need to match that with what you're getting from funders, with what you're getting from the ecosystem as well. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thanks.
So I think I'll add on what Joseph has said, because the question it's really a good question, but there's no better way for me to answer it than to touch a little bit on what Joseph mentioned actually in his first response. Nothing in your business changes until you change. So no amount of resources, no amount of money, doesn't matter how big your network can potentially be. If nothing changes within you, all of those things don't matter much. And so that change really comes from various aspects, but it's being able to look at your business honestly and being able to take any sort of information or critique or judgment of your business perhaps, and also utilize that to bring about the change that is necessary in your business. I, for one, can testify to this because some of the feedback I received, especially once we started to move into the higher levels of the competition, were very difficult to accept because we tend to think that our ideas are the best and that we've thought it through thoroughly and we know what the plan is to action and, we just know everything. But the minute I started to understand that the less I know about my business, the more it will compel me to learn more about my business. And when that happens, you get great success stories such as Joseph that created a pivot that now actually speaks to a global audience. And all the other perks are really wonderful, but again, you will only use them once you see the value in it because you've decided that this will be impactful to my business. This resource will help me in this way. This person will help me in that way. So it really stems down to you as the founder. And just keep in mind, very importantly, that as the founder of your startup, you drive the culture of your business. And culture is such a crucial factor to the success of your business because there's a famous saying that goes, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And that is so true. So if you can cultivate a culture in your organization of constant learning, of constant growing, of constant seeking, you as the founder yourself will start to grow exponentially in making your business a success.
Right now, I'm feeling like such a proud mother. Oh my gosh. Being in such a setup where knowledge sharing is taking place. Ladies and gentlemen, this kind of content, you don't always find it in books. You will not find it when you sit in a corner by yourself or with the same crowd. And it's priceless. It's absolutely, absolutely priceless. And it's even more encouraging when you appreciate the stories that simple influence and deft touch have to tell, so that tomorrow we continue to endeavor in realizing our vision. Jayshree, I see your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Hi, and thank you so much again to the EWC committee for actually giving us this opportunity. It's actually Hanita and Jayshree is next to me right now. We just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been awesome. And to know that we're part of the top 10 out of 10,000 participants. We actually just, we're like excited and overwhelmed by this opportunity. And so we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, hoping that we're going to be part of the top 3, but also you've mentioned, there's a lot of other stuff other than just being part of the top 3 that will go forth to the next round. And that's in the perks that's available. So, well, we just wanted to get some more information about the other learnings that we can actually benefit from.
Awesome. Thanks for the question. Let me actually take this opportunity to share a little more about the GEN network and all the different components that come with it. GEN is the Global Entrepreneurship Network. It's been around for the past 15 years and is headquartered in Washington, D.C., America. You will find that in each country, we have what we call GEN MDs, which is a managing director. And one of the most beautiful elements about this organization is that you eat, sleep, talk, smell, dance, all things you can imagine, all in the name of entrepreneurship development. And through the networks, one is exposed to platforms where you get to appreciate competitions taking place in South America, pitch preparations being given by colleagues in Australia, world entrepreneurship cups such as this, which are taking place in Saudi Arabia. And what we really like about the organization is that as an entrepreneur, you don't know what you don't know until you're exposed, until you get to see what like-minded people are up to. With that being said, GEN has got a number of activities that are given to entrepreneurs such that they're exposed and they're able to take those tools, tricks, and techniques into building their businesses. One most immediate one is known as the Global Entrepreneurship Week, which happens every year in November for 1 week, Monday to Friday. And the beauty about the Global Entrepreneurship Week is that it takes place in each city where GEN has a presence. There are multiple players in the space. So you'll find that there are pitching competitions, there are speed dating platforms, there are investor matchmaking sessions, and the list goes on. And the idea is just to continue cultivating the spirit of entrepreneurship and making sure that activities are accessible to everyone. And by the way, everything that I'm sharing right now is literally a nut of a nutshell. Please feel free to do further research later on within the day. We also have what we call the Global Entrepreneurship Congress. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is the World Cup of Entrepreneurship, where a country bids to host the GEC, and you have thousands of various practitioners descending within that particular city to experience the entrepreneurial culture there. Now, if you're part of a network such as GEN, it just simplifies the kind of conversations that you can have should you have aspirations to get out there and explore a different type of partnership. Let me give you an example. If I'm a farmer based here in South Africa and I'm looking to export macadamia nuts for interest sake, I can be put in touch with GEN Malawi MD, who will then welcome me into the Malawian entrepreneurial ecosystem. Now, the beauty about that is I don't have to have 3,768 web pages open just to figure out what the entrepreneurial ecosystem looks like and even typical market trends for macadamia nuts. Once I'm welcomed, it becomes simpler to align and affiliate as well as identify those partners I want to work with, whether it's importing the containers and exporting the actual macadamia nut itself. Another interesting thing that we're working on is the GEC Plus Africa, where we're now taking this global concept and looking at it from a continental perspective. With the ongoing conversations around the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, it's been a question of what role are we playing as ecosystem champions in ensuring that doing business with brothers and sisters across the continent, we are literally within the system. We understand and appreciate the regulations, the red tape, and equally the opportunities that it has to offer. So this is literally, like I said, a nutshell. In terms of other platforms you can read about, equip yourself with that knowledge. It's always to ensure you constantly surround yourself with individuals with whom you can soundboard, or individuals who can guide you in a different direction. And one such platform is what we're experiencing today with these national finals for EWC. I hope, Jayshree, I've given you a little teaser of what you can anticipate by being part of this ecosystem, and simply complementing what Claiborne as well as Jay have mentioned today. Yes, I was looking for that rhyme and it worked out last minute. Are there any other last comments that anyone wants to share before we get into the crux of things? Jay,
yeah, I just want to say one thing, right? I think Claiborne and Iftar can attest to this, but this round actually has some heavy hitters, right? And I think the judges have actually had probably a tough time picking, because the amount of traction and the amount of the level, at least, of the problems these people are solving is quite high. So I think everyone who made it the top 10, like Jay was mentioning, that the top 10 out of it, 10,000 or 1,000 people, it's actually quite a big win, right? So if you don't make it to the top 3 or whatever the case may be, there should be something that you can use as a confidence booster to take you to the next level, and even maybe come back and take you to the top 3 or whatever the case may be. But I'm really, really impressed by the level and the caliber of entrepreneurs that you guys have in this round.
Thank you, Jay. Shout out to that. And it just shows you that with each year we host the EWC, the competition, the caliber will continue to amaze and surprise us. And indeed, the judges were in for a good, shall we say, eating? Maybe. With that being said, I see our judges have come back. And I would like to ask if we have one representative who can share with us just high-level pointers about the pitches that were delivered today. These pointers could be areas of improvements. These pointers could be areas of opportunity. Some sound knowledge that all 10 finalists can take back into their business and continue implementing. Judges, do we have that one representative who will share with us your overall synthesis? This is me just trying to make sure we ensure the hibby-jibbies and the finalists are attempting to be at bay. Ziad, I take it you will share a few pointers?
Yeah, look, I'm happy to share some feedback. Firstly, I think it's a big congratulations to all the people that took place, right? I don't think there's any losers. I think the fact that everybody achieves this and is able to be confident about their offering is already a big start, because believing in something yourself is the starting point. So that's the first point I'd make. The second point is, I think everybody showed up well. You spoke well, you articulated well, your value propositions are good. There's definitely, resonance with us as judges in order to take you forward. So even whether you're in the top 3 or not doesn't really matter. I think you've met a lot of people. Use that network and try and leverage and continue growing, right? And then the next point that I'll give is just a practical one. It's obviously difficult for you to illustrate your entire value proposition in a short pitch. But the most important things when pitching your business are who you are, what you're selling, why you're selling it, and what the differentiation is, what the commercial benefit is, how you're going to scale, and how you're not going to try and do everything by yourself. And I specifically say that last one quite deliberately and slowly is because the world is around ecosystems, right? It's how you connect and bring the sum of a number of parts together to get the right output, so you can focus on your true value proposition. Those are the things that you always have to focus on. And yeah, I think very, very high standards. So well done to everybody. I don't know if any of the fellow judges wish to comment above that, but it's really been a privilege to listen to this afternoon, and certainly would love to connect with all of you to help as much as we can. So thank you, and back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Siad. You really set the tone for all of our participants to take those key lessons and continue to endeavor and be resilient and have tenacity in achieving their visions. Ladies and gentlemen, for the moment, we've been waiting for, but let me do a quick recap of what you have in store for you. Firstly, the prizes are as follows. Tailored mentorship with an investor. If you listened tentatively during the introduction of our judges, some of them are angel investors. There is no better platform to be guided by an investor, especially when you're seeking that funding. Secondly, to be featured in 22 Ounce marketing campaign with, ladies and gentlemen, a footprint of plus minus 20,000 subscribers across the continent. So putting one's business out there. Thirdly, lunch date with a corporate CEO in your sector. Yes, you heard right. That lunch date can open up a whole different goal together in terms of making sure your idea takes the next level. Fourth, this one is the best for me. An all expenses trip to the Entrepreneurship World Cup Global Finals. It does not get better than that. All that you have to do is simply prepare the best speech you've ever prepared in your life and pop your uncle. Attend a key event during the Global Entrepreneurship Week 2022. I've given you a slight heads up of what that week entails. And lastly, receive an Innovation Bridge Portal license. This is a partner to 22 and Sloan as well as the World Bank, assisting you in your business to move from one business stage to another and continued networking and exposure. Now, if that does not get those heebie-jeebies settled, I don't know what will. All right, can I please have a drum roll? Otherwise, I will make my own drum roll. We have a tie for the runner-ups. Will the following startups switch on their videos and give us the loudest cheer, because you are the two runner-ups, Dove Air and Tumeza. Dove Air and Tumeza. Well done, well done, well done. I'm not hearing the excitement. I'm not seeing the faces.
Thank you very much. Very exciting.
There we go. That is encouraging. A hearty congratulations to you both, Dove Air and Tumeza. Yay! I like the excitement I'm seeing online. Now, on to the penultimate winner. Here comes the drum roll. Vitruvian MD. Well done, guys. Vitruvian MD, you are the national finalist for EWC South Africa 2022. Kudos to you. Kudos, kudos,
Thanks,
kudos.
guys. Thanks very much.
Excitement.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I am actually very excited. I'm just, a bit shocked. Yeah, thanks.
Right. Once again, a hearty congratulations to our top 3 national finalists. Mahlatsi will be in contact with you this coming week. And a very big thank you to all the entrepreneurs who made it this far. As one individual mentioned it, to be part of the top 10 from a pool of more than 10,800 applications, it says a lot about where you're at and where you can actually go with your business. So, aluta continua and continue to expose yourself to spaces and places that ensure you're able to see the vision through. Also, hearty thanks to Death Touch and Simple Influence for sharing their nuggets. I hope that you were able to take as much insight as possible which you can implement within your business. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the finals. Really, thank you so much for sparing time. For those who've been watching remotely, live on various platforms, I trust you equally enjoyed and learned a lot. So I bid you all a very good afternoon and a pleasant weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. All the best for the journey ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. Cheers, day.
Goodbye. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Jayshree.